Okay, good morning, afternoon, everyone. Gonna do a quick video to help you with today's homework, and it's just gonna be a continuation of what we did on Friday with the notes that were called the factor theorem. Okay, so when you're given something like a factor would be x minus 2. A factor is 3x plus 4. A factor is 2x minus 5. And to get to the 0, you use the zero product property. So the 0 associated with x minus 2, the 0 adding 2 to both sides would be x equals 2. 3x plus 4, if you set that equal to 0 and you subtract 4 and divide by 3, you would get negative 4/3. And the 0 associated with the factor of 2x minus 5, add 5, divide by 2, and you would get 5/2. So you can go from factors to zeros, which is what we're normally used to, but you can also go from a 0 to a factor. So if I tell you that the 0 is at, let's say, x equals 3. So this would be the 0. To turn that into a factor, you would subtract 3 from both sides, and the factor would be x minus 3. That would be your factor. So working backwards, let's go to like x equals negative 4/3. So if I tell you x is negative 4/3, to turn that into a factor, you would multiply both sides by 3. And then you would add 4. And that is how you would turn a 0 into a factor. So the factor would be 3x minus 4. Probably hear all that clicking in the background is Titus. He's walking around pacing the floor. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do now is very similar to what we did on Friday, is I'm going to give you a factor, and I want you to find the remaining factors. The process is exactly the same as what we did on Friday. The difference is how it's written. Now, keep in mind that if I ask you to factor something, without a doubt, the number one step is to always look for a GCF, period, end of story. This problem doesn't have one. The next thing you would try and do, this has 4 terms, you would try and group it. Unfortunately, this problem is not groupable. The only way to do this problem is if I tell you one of the factors. So I'm going to give you x plus 2 as a factor. Okay, well, if x plus 2 is a factor, remember therefore, 3 dots mean therefore, x equals negative 2 is the 0. Now this problem is identical to what you did on Friday. Negative 2 is the number that I use off to the side. Make sure you use negative. 3, negative 4, so I'm going to do my synthetic. And when I'm done with this, the number here at the end, right here, that should be a 0 if we've done it correctly. It better be 0, otherwise something's wrong. Bring down the 3, multiply, you get negative 6, add, you get negative 10. Multiply, you get 20, add, you get negative 8. Multiply, you get 16, add, you get 0. Awesome. Okay, so the negative 8 represents my constant. Negative 10 represents my coefficient on x to the first. 3 represents my coefficient on x squared. So I've got 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. Okay, so let's go back really quick. If we know that the degree is 3, that means there should be 3 factors, 3 zeros. So I gave you one factor, there should be one left. Well, check out what just happened. I gave you one factor. There are 2 left. Well, guess what? Now the degree went down to 2. All right, so we're going to diamond, we're going to shortcut box this, whatever you want to do, and that's going to give me my remaining answers. Negative 24 on top, negative 10, negative 12 and 2. A is 3. I know I'm going fast, but we've been factoring for a long time now. Denominator is your x, so that's 3x plus 2. Denominator is your x, that's x minus 4. So those are your remaining factors. And there you go. So that is how you're going to do the homework. And then your first test is going to be a week from Wednesday. I'm pretty sure that's the date. I have it written on the board. Your first test is on, sorry, I'm looking for it here. This Wednesday, the 7th. That's your first test. All right, hopefully I'll be back on Wednesday.